core work, I do not expect you to make it all the way to stage 2 or all the way to stage 3 if that doesn't feel right for your body. I want you to work at the level that feels not only appropriate, not only doesn't cause pain, but also where your intelligence can be present. There's going to be a degree of focus and work that you might not be used to in core work. A lot of times in core work, we're just flinging ourselves around and waiting and praying for the end of our session. Not so with this case. We're going to be using a yoga block. If you don't have a yoga block, you can use a thick book. You can grab a towel, fold it over in thirds, roll it up. If you've got an extra yoga mat, you can fold it in half and roll it up. We could use a pillow, just something to put between the thighs that allows us to have a little bit of resistance there. Good morning, Dan. But anyways, let's get this show on the road. There's no time slotted for breathwork and meditation in the BEZZ online schedule right now. So we're going to do belly and breathing here today. We'll take some minutes at the end, work on a little bit of a breathing practice, eventually getting to the place where that breathing practice is also core work. So to begin with, first motion that I always want to teach people, and also I'm using a headset just so the quality of sound is hopefully better. If y'all can't hear me, I'm so sorry. Please squawk. I won't be able to see the comments, but we'll figure it out eventually. But first action I always want to think about is a pelvic tilt. So here I am, knees bent, feet flat on the floor. Hands can be wherever you want for this first series. Butt's going to stay down to the floor. I'm only creating movement here in this low lumbar spine. I'm going to move this hand out of the way so you can see. So on your inhale, we're going to take the hips, the pelvis, and we're going to rock it towards the heels of the feet so that low back arches ever so slightly away from the mat. And then on the exhale, low back is going to press down, top rim of the pelvis grounds into the floor, tailbone scoops. On the inhale, hips rock towards the heels of the feet, back arches. On the exhale, low back grounds down, and we're tucking the tailbone. Inhaling, rocking the hips towards the heels of the feet. Exhale, taking it back behind us, just geographically relocating the pelvis in space. We can bring the hands here to the belly, and as we rock the hips, we swell the belly on the inhale, into the weight of the hands on the exhale. Belly deflates. Keep working with this, a couple more breaths right here. Inhaling, hips to heels. Exhaling, low back into the floor. One more here with me, wherever you are. Inhaling, rocking the hips towards the heels. Exhale, taking it back behind you. Good, coming back to center, coming back to the middle of our space. We're going to take our block, our pillow, our towel, our book, or what the heck ever you have. If you don't have anything, don't worry about it. We're going to take this block and we're going to bring it all the way up on the hips, not closer to the knees. We're looking to engage these adductors right here by the pelvis. Block is on its thinnest width, and it's perpendicular instead of running the length of the thighs. We're really going for this specific engagement up here. For stage 1, hands can be wherever you want. I like to keep them on the ribs or the belly, just so I can keep a closer eye on my breathing. What's going to happen here is our inhale is going to swell the breath just into the ribs and the chest. At the height of the inhale, I'm going to pause. I'm going to connect the low back down, so that exhale, that posterior pelvic tilt. And then on my exhale here, thighs are going to squeeze the block. All we got to do. Inhale, relax. Height of the inhale, ground the low back down. Exhale, thighs squeeze. Good, just like that. I'm working through it with you. Inhale. Height of the inhale, ground the back down. Exhale. Inhale. Height of the inhale, ground the back down. Exhale. 4. Inhale. High to the inhale, ground the back down. Exhale. Inhale. High to the inhale, ground the back down. Exhale. Inhale. High to the inhale, ground the back down. Exhale. 3 more. Inhale. High to the inhale, ground the back down. Exhale. 2 more. Inhale. High to the inhale, ground the low back down. Exhale. 1 more. Inhale. High to the inhale, ground the low back down. Exhale. Beautiful. Relax, shake it out, roll it out, let the body reset however the body wants to reset. And we're going to move into stage 2. Stage 2, exact same breathing, just this time as we exhale and squeeze the thighs, hands are going to be either behind the neck, behind the head, or crossed over the chest, depending on what works in your body. As we exhale, as the thighs squeeze the crap out of the block here, we're going to lift the shoulders and skull. But instead of thinking about lifting the face or lifting the chest, this is more about creating space between the shoulder blades and the floor. And it happens because we take the low ribs right here and draw them towards the space behind us. So, not in our work yet, still just explaining. Let me get through my whole song and dance before we find this here. Fingers will interlace behind the neck or behind the head. If they interlace behind the neck or the head, elbows are going to point towards the ceiling. We're going to inhale here. I'm going to open my arm just so I can keep an eye on what the hell I'm doing in this screen. We're going to inhale here. High to the inhale. Low back is going to ground down. Exhale as the thighs squeeze. Low ribs draw towards the space behind us. Shoulders and skull lift, but head stays back. We're not lifting here. You're just cranking into the neck. Keeping the head back here. We lift as high as we can on the exhale. On the inhale, we return back to center. Alright, so working into this together. Inhaling here. High to the inhale, ground the low back down. Exhale, thighs squeeze. Low ribs draw towards the space behind us. Shoulders and skull come away from the floor. Inhale. High to the inhale, ground down. Exhale. Inhale. High to the inhale, ground the low back. Exhale. Inhale. High to the inhale, ground back down. Exhale. Inhale. High to the inhale, ground back down. Pace yourself with me. Ground down. Six. This is number 8. One more, inhaling, grounding down, exhale. Good, release out, release the block, come back to your pelvic tilt, rocking the heat beginning to rise, feeling motion starting to happen. Always an opportune time to notice where's the brain, what are you thinking, what's happening. Sure, seated meditation is wonderful and great, but I often believe we can learn more about the ways that our brain work dysfunctionally in spaces of heat and spice, like core work here. There's a stage 3 to this exercise. We're just going to keep it at stage 1 and 2. We have enough to think about right now with lifting the shoulders and skull without bringing the neck into the equation here. We're going to switch gears here and work a little bit deeper into the belly, into the transverse abdominis. So again, we're going to be using our block, pillow, towel, whatever the heck you got. If you don't have a block, we have lots at the studio, and we can figure out a way to get those into your hands if you're super serious about this core business. This is a cork block, so it's heavier, which means my life is going to be a little bit more miserable. If you've got a foam block, life will be a little bit easier here. This is our starting position. So I've got the leg in 90-90, meaning 90 degrees here, knee is directly over the hip, and then 90 degrees here, shin is parallel with the floor. I want to activate the foot, so I want to dorsiflex the foot, and I want to spread the toes out here. As you start working into the belly, perfectly natural for that to crap out, and so we'll just re-cue it as we go through the exercise. Only thing we have to do here in this series is an inhale that swells the breath into the ribs and the chest. Exhale, thigh and forearm, squeeze the crap out of the block, contrasting each other, low back grounds down into the mat. On the inhale, we relax. On the exhale, thigh and forearm, press against the block here. Inhale, we relax. Exhale, thigh and forearm. Inhale. Use that whole exhale here. Inhale. In. Squeezing the block. Check in on the foot, dorsiflex, spread the toes. Two more. Good, release, rest. As we move into the next side, notice in this first portion of the series, were you focusing on thigh and forearm whoosh, compressing the block, or were we focusing on belly drawing towards the space behind us? I'm going to give you a clue. We want to focus on the belly drawing towards the space behind us. If we're only focusing on thigh and forearm squeezing the crap out of the block, we might be compensating with the front line of our hip flexors here instead of really working up into the deep belly. So coming into the left side, I'm going to prioritize, going to focus this idea of drawing the belly towards the space behind us. Setting up 90-90 with the legs, dorsiflexing. So I'm going to bring my knee a little bit closer just because that's what works for my arm in this block. We're going to inhale here. Exhale, thigh and forearm contrast, belly withdraws. Pinning that belly button all the way towards the floor. Inhale, relax. Exhale. Good. Inhale, relax. Exhale, thigh and forearm. Inhale, relax. Exhale, compress. halfway. 5. This is number 6. Inhale, relax. Exhale. Inhale, relax. 3 more. 2 more. Withdrawing the belly. 1 more. Beautiful. Release, release, release. Shake it out, work it out, release it out. We have a stage 2 on this exercise, but again, we're just going to rest right here. We're going to keep it at stage 1 for this first week. Imagining that you do all 3 sessions with me this week, already working in your belly in a more intelligent way. We'll add in stage 2 next week. Alright, normally we do this next portion of our series on a foam roller. We're just going to be doing it on the floor today. We can moderate difficulty of this exercise by how close, more support, more ease, the heels are to the butt, or how distant, more effort, more work, when the heels are further away from the butt. Exercise is a super simple motion, but I'm going to be asking you to engage into it just a little bit differently. So hanging out here on the floor, I like my palms pressing down into the mat. On the exhale, we're going to be hinging at the hip, drawing the knee towards the chin, bringing the shin parallel. So just lifting the leg. And then on the inhale, we're going to be setting the leg back down. On the exhale, we'll be lifting the left leg. On the inhale, we'll be setting it back down. First way your body wants to cheat here is by creating this action through the hinge of the knee. So instead of hinging at the hip and lifting the shin to parallel, it's going to want to just swing the leg. Beautiful, great, fantastic. You're working your quad, not your core. So as much as we can get out of this movement here and into this movement here, step 1 to creating work for us. And if you just can't help it, if you start to lift and then your body finishes with this, don't worry about it. We got all the time in the world to figure this out. We're going to be hanging out 30 minutes, 3 times a week, just doing core work. The other thing I want us to think about is this idea of low ribs drawing towards the space behind us, and pubic bone. If you've never found your pubic bone, find your waistband, go just a couple of inches south. Pubic bone is this firm prominence here. We want to think about pubic bone lifting towards the belly button. It's going to be that posterior tilt of the pelvis that we were talking about earlier. So hanging out here, our exhale draws the knee towards the chin so that the shin comes parallel. On the inhale, we're going to set it down. Exhale, left leg, knee to chin. Chin parallel. Inhale, set it back down. Just taking it for a walk. Moving slowly here and really focusing on this idea of drawing the pubic bone towards the belly button and drawing the low ribs towards the space behind us. Your body wants to create this exercise with the front line of the hip flexors, with the quadriceps. That's more efficient. We're here to be a little bit less efficient, to create more work in the abdominal musculature. Exhale, lifting the shin to parallel, activate that foot, spread those toes. Inhale, bring it back down. Exhale, shin to parallel through the activity of the belly depressing. Inhale, bring it back down. I always imagine that there's like a little cloud above me, and this golden fist comes out of the cloud and punches me in the belly, and as the belly descends, whoop, almost like a cartoon, the leg ascends. Exhale. Pubic bone to belly button, low ribs to the space behind you, grounding the low back down as the shin lifts to parallel. If you have a foam roller and you want to make your life a little bit more spicy, you're welcome to do this with the butt, the spine, the shoulders, the skull, all on the foam roller here. Here again, there's a stage 2 and a stage 3 to this exercise, but we're just going to stay in stage 1, focusing on this engagement in the belly. Pubic bone to belly button, low ribs towards the space behind us, imprinting the low back into the floor. Good. Drawing it back behind. Activate that foot. You can see my feet aren't being very intelligent here. Not bad, not wrong, not evil. I suppose I too am human. Inhale, release down. Exhale, belly towards the space behind us, pubic bone towards the belly button, low ribs towards the space behind you. Inhale, reset. Exhale, drawing it back. Inhale, resetting. Exhale, drawing it back. Inhale, resetting. Full disclosure, I have completely lost count. It is a lot to do the exercise, talk about the exercise, and also remember where the heck we are in progression. So we're going to do 3 more on both sides. We're at least getting to 10, if not to 11 or 12. Inhale, set it back down. Exhale, pubic bone to belly button, low rib space behind you, lifting the leg. Bring it back down. You don't need to go any farther than parallel. Once we get here, it's no longer the belly, it's the hip flexor. Exhale. Once you get to parallel, stop. Releasing it back down. 1 more, both sides. Exhale, drawing it towards the space behind. Inhale, resetting. Once more on this side, drawing it towards the space behind. And resetting. Good, relax, shake it out, roll it out, work it out. We are going to come to hands and knees now, rolling over to one side, pressing ourselves up to a seat, crawling forward. We're going to work a lot with plank in this class. A lot of times I don't teach plank just because of knee problems, shoulder problems. But we're just going to begin working with this here. I have so many things for us to think about in plank. So for this first day, since we're at 8:24, we are going to come to hands and knees. We're not even worried about coming into a full plank. And we want to start working with this idea of, are we here, lifting the spine, or can we relax the shoulders into our shape? Are we here, shoving into the floor, or can we let nipples melt towards the thumbs? And as you do so, notice how my low back starts to curve, pubic bone towards the belly button. Are we here, or can we release down to this space right here? Just playing with this idea. Maybe lifting up and bringing it back down. As we come back down, let's cue activation of the hands here in our tabletop. Thumbs are drawing towards each other. If my hands weren't on the mat, my hands would be doing this. Isometric engagement. Engagement without motion. Thumbs are drawing towards each other. Heels of the hands are pulling back for the knees. So much so that I want to shoot forward, but I'm sending my hips back behind me to counteract it. So just these 3 pieces, relaxing the shoulders, tucking the tailbone, thumbs towards each other, heels of the hands towards the knee. Holding here for 10. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. Come out, shake it out, shake it out, shake it out, work it out, work it out, work it out. We are at 8:25, so we are going to switch gears here, make our way into a little bit of breath work. You are already there on your mat, so just come back, knees bent, soles of the feet flat to the floor, palms of the hands are going to come to the belly. Working here on breathing into the belly. Big inhale. Swelling the belly into the palms of the hands. Full exhale. And I'm going to join you on the floor. Inhaling. Letting it go. Big in. Full exhale. We're going to walk our feet together. We're going to let the knees drop to the right. Keep the left shoulder to the floor. Stretching here through this side belly. Big in. Full out. Bring the knees up. Take it over to the left. Big in. Full out. Bring it back up to center. Split the legs. Back to that breath. Inhaling into the belly. Exhaling completely. Good. Staying with that breath here. Inhaling into the belly. Exhaling full and completely. If it feels comfortable, closing the eyes. Inhale to the belly. Exhaling full and completely. Continuing this breath, noticing with the palms resting here at the belly. How did this feel? What came up? What happened? Where did the brain go? Did it slip into memory? Did it slip into bargaining? Did it slip into emotion, planning, to-do lists? Big in. Full out. We're not here to judge or rush to conclusions. Big in. We're just here to be curious. Be a little softer. Big in. Full out. Come back to that pelvic tilt with your breath. On the inhale, rocking the hips towards the heels of the feet, arching the back. On the exhale, taking it the opposite direction, grounding the low back down. Inhale, rocking the hips towards the heels of the feet. Exhale, taking it back the opposite direction. Taking this heat, this energy, this jazz, this vim, this vigor you've stored up, and moving it through the rest of your body. You can stay here, pelvic tilting as long as your little heart wants to. You can return to this pelvic tilt throughout the day. Brain starts getting really spicy later. Come back to this core work throughout the day. Burn that stuff up instead of just letting it sit in your body and your brain. And that's mostly me reminding myself as much as it is that I'm reminding you. Thanks for practicing with me. We'll be getting together Wednesday, 8 a.m. or watching throughout the day at your leisure on the Facebook site. For a little bit more core work, we'll be working with the same series, a little bit less explanation, so we'll be able to get into the plank work just a little bit more. Have a swell Monday. I'll see you guys soon.